No secret that radio taxis are at loggerheads with taxi aggregators like Ola and Uber, but the fight has now escalated. The Radio Taxi Association has written to the Prime Minister accusing taxi aggregators like Ola and Uber of violating FDI rules. Joining us now to give their side of the story is the President of the Radio Taxi Association, Kunal Lalani. Mr. Lalani, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Why has your association sent that letter to various regulators? What exactly is your bone of contention?
I think you're aware of the situation in the taxi business, how it has, sort of expanded, and how players have come in who have essentially been operating within the country without any licensing. And the biggest plea they've taken in front of all forums, including regulators to even the courts, is that they are actually a platform, aggregation platform, and not actual operators. We have been fighting this through and through, but the reality is that even if we were to look at the new guidelines of FDI, in that, even if we were to look at how the platform is defined and the kind of rules that they have to follow, and incidentally both these operators are completely governed by FDI because their major investment is from international sources. Now, we have staked our claim that, look, assuming we were to believe that they were just a market platform, then also they are violating all the rules. If you were to look at the other conditions of the new note, point number 10 clearly says they cannot influence the price, they cannot create any kind of incentive which is more than their earning. And they are doing both of them and violating the whole process of FDI.
That the marketplace rules are impacting, are also being violated by these companies. Of course, those rules were put out shortly or recently. But Kunal, let's talk about the situation at this point in time. Of course, regulators, state governments are looking into the cab aggregator business, and they're also debating on this issue of surge pricing. Various state governments are looking into the issue of surge pricing. So there is enough intervention in that sense from various state governments, isn't it?
Our objective is that in any industry there has to be one rule for all. Unfortunately, the problem is that they are following a different set of rules, and we, the licensed players, are following different sets of rules, or rather we are being compelled to use different rules. So we have at no point of time resisted their entry into the market. All we are saying is the rules should be same for both sides. And aggregation or non-aggregation, everybody is aggregating now because the government has liberalized in a lot of states. However, that itself is not enough. If license is compulsory for domestic players, then why not for these players?
So the state of Karnataka has come out with a set of guidelines for radio taxi aggregators. Do you believe that other states should follow suit as well and have individual recommendations or directives for this business?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit slow. Karnataka has taken the lead and has really made taken some effective measures in this. And I'm sure you've been reading, there's been a lot of disciplining that is happening in that market. Even Delhi, to an extent, has also come out with a better scheme or a more practical, which lets them also operate within the framework. However, they've decided not to take a license in Delhi. I think in West Bengal, they've gone ahead and taken a license recently. The idea is that there has to be a uniform rule all over the country, and they cannot be allowed to just make rules as per their convenience and not follow the regulations of the country or the Essential Motor Vehicles Act. The sad part that we find is just because our Motor Vehicles Act is quite outdated and there is no provision for taking any action, which is what the lacuna they are actually misusing and just carrying on operating in maybe 40 markets, 50 markets without actually following any of the rules. Any of the rules in the country.
Well, you're right on the Motor Vehicle Act being outdated, and in fact it is still pending an update. The government is working towards that. But as an association, Kunal, what is the next course of action going to be for you?
So we are taking it to the logical conclusion that if FDI, they are violating the FDI regulations, then the DIPP should take immediate action. They should be getting in an enforcement directorate to actually investigate this. And it is a violation of the investment which has come into the country. At the same time, parallelly, we are fighting with them in courts, which you're aware of, and all we are asking is take a license. Once they take a license, then they have to also follow the same rules which are applicable to us. For example, I'm sure you're aware of what's happening in Delhi, that we operate only CNG vehicles, all the Association of Radio Taxi members. However, they are operating they are operating virtually 95% diesel vehicles versus 5% CNG vehicles. This is also a violation of the pollution guidelines in the city of Delhi. I guess if there is somewhere there could be some streamlining of the whole system, and the rules were to be made equal for all, I guess customers would benefit even then, but at least not at the cost of health and other issues over here.
All right, Kunal, appreciate you joining us here and taking us through the Radio Taxi Association's bone of contention with Ola and Uber, writing to the Prime Minister asking for action to be taken against those companies. The big